to Revivewell, Move Well Mobility. That's a mouthful. Grab your supplies, your water, your mat, your pillow. We're gonna be on our backs to start, so if you're already with us, you're welcome to lay out your mat and crawl on your back. I'm super grateful. I got a little bit of feedback from some of you about what you'd be interested in working on today. So the consensus is hip flexors and low back. Hope that's okay with everybody. We're gonna be just like medium to light today. Let's do this, you guys. You're gonna be on your back like I've said. And let's just take those feet out nice and wide to the outer edges of the mat. And place your right hand on your belly and your left hand on your heart. And just take some deep breaths. Fill your lungs, fill your belly. We're just using the hands as a sensory experience to be more aware, more in touch with our body. To be totally present and feel what's going on in the body. And then just to use our own hands also to give back to ourselves love and energy. Whatever it is that your body is craving, whatever you're needing, use the hands to listen to the body and then also to give that feeling back to the body. Give me 3 more deep breaths here. Fill the tummy. And then you can leave your hands on yourself or by your sides, whatever's more comfortable. And we're just going to slowly, on the exhale, take the knees one side. And inhale, lift them back up, and exhale them over the other way. Just relaxing the hips and low back. Inhale up, exhale over. Inhale up, exhale over. Keep going nice and slow. You might not be at the exact same pace as me, but I do encourage you to go at the pace of your breath. So breathe deep and slow and move to that breath. Don't need to store up any energy, just let those exhales fully release your hips and your body. And we're just going to tuck those knees into the chest. In and rock side to side. Feels good on the low hips. And we'll roll up to a seat. Just nice and easy up to a seat, comfortable. Soles of the feet to touch. Bring the ankles in nice and close and open up your chest away from you. Lift the chest, drop the shoulders. Take 5 deep breaths. Last deep breath, open chest. And reach the feet out away from you, about 1.5 feet away from you. Let the knees fall to the sides and just round yourself forward. Relax forward. Give me 5 more deep breaths here. And we're going to crawl ourselves all the way forward to hands and knees. Here we go, building this just a little bit. On hands and knees, give me 3 gentle cat-cows. Drop the belly, look up, inhale. And exhale, round. Inhale, lift, move through that spine. And exhale, round. Push the floor away, round that back. Make a big back. come to flat back. Draw the core in slightly and step the left leg back behind you. So, like I said, we're going to be working on the hip flexors today. So what we want to do in order to help them to release is really heat up and engage the back of the leg. So we're going to do just a little bit of hamstring and glute work, which should help us relax the hip flexors. I've seen this a lot this week where people can't even sense their hamstrings and glutes because the hip flexors are so tight, the glute can't even operate. So we're going to try to reverse that just a little bit today. So core engaged and just tiny little leg lifts. They don't have to be super effortful. We're just going to wake up the back of the leg. And what I don't want to see is movement through the belly and low back. So keep the belly really tight and still, and just a couple more leg lifts on that left side. And then go ahead and step that left foot out to the right side, so over across the other direction. Glance over your right shoulder at that heel. Reach that heel way out away from you. Take 3 deep breaths. Draw the belly in and step that leg straight back behind you. Push into the heel for calf stretch. If you're feeling a little energetic today and you've got the flexibility in that calf, you're welcome to lift the knee up into the belly and feel it even a little deeper. But that's optional. That actually kind of feels good to me today. And set the right knee down if it's up. Come back to hands and knees. Give me a few cat-cows again. So glad you all are here. Hope you're feeling good this morning. Hopefully we'll feel even better after this. I love that you all are here and taking care of your bodies, doing something good for yourself. So important. It's going to help your mental. If you've been feeling cranky or trapped or stuck, tired, whatever, moving your body should release some of that stuckness. Okay, right leg back. And where are we starting? Glute taps. Lift that heel. Wake up the back of the leg and glute. I think we're all getting a little cooped up, right? So just trying to release some of that pent-up energy through some movement today will hopefully help the mentals for a good weekend. And we're going to step that right foot over to the left side. Plant the foot, reach that heel actively away from you. Look over the left shoulder. Today that is feeling so good on my hips. And the right foot straight back behind you for calf stretch. Push into that heel. Raise the front knee into the belly if you want. 100% optional. And set that left knee down. Bring both hands and knees in. Square everything up. And we're just going to move the spine side to side. So we took cat-cow kind of linearly. Now we're going to take it laterally. So push one rib cage out to the side on your exhale. Inhale to the center. Exhale over to the other side. We're going to be on the wrists a little bit today, so we're just going to take a few extra moments here to stretch out the wrists as well. So quickly flip the hands over. They should be like this. So the fingernails on the mat, the fingertips towards each other. And if you are tight, this is going to be extremely sensitive. So feel free to back it off real close to you. That will be less intense. The more you go away from you and the wider you go, the harder it will be. So you can kind of like decide what you need right there. Press all 5 or 10 rather fingers into the floor and just sway side to side for me. Just feel the outer form stretch. So when I stretch away, I feel this outer form. And And then we're just gonna flip the hands over so the palms are on the floor but fingertips still pointed toward each other. This one's probably a little less tight for you. Walk the hands slightly further away and apart and continue swaying side to side. And from here, we are going to lay all the way onto the belly. So you can turn your hands back, kind of center, roll forward onto your stomach, and we're just going to take a few baby cobras. I am not looking here for you to get very high. I want you to feel like your shoulder blades are squeezing together and you're double chinning the head. So what I'm looking for in the neck is when you lift to go from here to here and not necessarily to go here. So be real careful with that neck. Okay, baby cobra, shoulders squeeze together. Inhale, lift, tuck chin. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Give me 3 more. And push hips back to heels, child's pose. Not here for very long, but stretch out nice and long. Reach those hands away. Reach the tailbone behind. Take a few deep breaths. Tug the toes under and slowly transition to down dog. Lift the hips up high. Oh yeah, man, everything on me is like feeling tight today. I don't know what that's all about, but it feels good to release it. Pedal it out, move around, take deep breaths. Here for a few more of them. And we're gonna lift those heels and walk ourselves forward to the top of the mat. Spreading out your toes, relax into a forward fold. Drop the head, neck, and shoulders. Relax, take 2 deep breaths, let go of the shoulders, let go of the tension in the neck. And then draw your belly in, roll up to stand. And then remember I said that we were going to wake up and work the back of the legs. So we're going to take some tips here. If you've done training or workouts with us, maybe like a single leg deadlift, if you've done a lot of yoga, kind of like a warrior 3. So you're going to balance on one leg, let's call it the left leg. And then we're just going to take both hands down to the floor and lift the right leg up off the floor. And it does not have to be gorgeous. If you're falling all over the place, it does not matter. We are just waking up and warming up the back of this hamstring. Just tipping up and down kind of gently with some amount of control, but not worrying about perfection. If you feel the back of this leg, you are winning. We're going 2 more on this side. And then taking it on the other side. Balancing on the right leg, the left leg lifting up behind. We're taking 8 of these. That's 1, 2. Likely one leg will be better at balancing than the other. 4, halfway. Good morning, hamstrings. 2 to go. I'm having a harder time balancing on this side. 7, 8. Good. Up and then both feet on the floor and forward fold. Relax the head, neck, and shoulders. Take a deep breath. Flat back. Engage your core. So if you're real flexible today, so I am like able to get my back pretty flat with my hands still on the floor. If you're tight, you may have to be like way up here to get that back flat. So find a position that you can hold in. I know you probably don't have a mirror, so you're like, is my back flat? I don't know. But the goal is to isolate the hamstrings with that flat back. So when we're in forward fold, we're stretching out the back by bending the knees and putting the stretch through the back. And when we're in half lift, we're putting the stretch in the legs by neutralizing the back. Let's get into outer hips. We're gonna set the right hand on the floor and bend the right knee. Take the left hand to the sky, look up towards the sky. So you should feel it all out here. Straighten and lift this left leg, open up that chest, stack one shoulder on top of the other. Oh yeah. And we'll take it on the other side, keeping the chest lifted, the back mostly flat. Bend the left knee, open up the chest, right hand to the sky. And we're going to take it one more time on each side. Left hand goes up, take 3 deep breaths. And left hand to the floor, right hand to the sky, 3 deep breaths. Both hands to the floor, forward fold. 3 breaths, forward fold. Half lift. Step one leg and then the other back to plank. And we're going to set the knees down and lower all the way to the belly. And then we're slowly going to open up the chest and hips by pressing into the hands, not using the back to open up the chest. And depending on how your back is feeling today, this might be as high as you can go. This might be as high as you can go. Maybe you can go all the way up. Just kind of listen to that back. Heavy through the hips. Be careful here. I'm in a tight little corner. So just feeling the front of the body, the chest and the belly button open up, stretching out that tummy, giving the back a reversal of what we normally do, which is that roundedness. And back to child's pose. Sweet, hopefully those hips are starting to loosen up just a touch. Give me a few deep breaths in child's pose, enjoy. And we're gonna come up to down dog, tuck the toes, lift the hips, take 3 deep breaths in down dog. Lift the heels nice and high, walk it forward to the top of the mat, forward fold. Let's get into those hip flexors even more. Half lift, step the right leg back to low lunge. And just give yourself some length here. So rock it forward and backward, up and down, just massaging the hips, open, creeping the feet in opposite directions apart from each other. The front toes a little further away, the back toes a little further back. Go ahead and set the back knee down, come up to the front knee. Love this stretch. Okay, so if those hips are too far forward, you might experience like some mega arching here, which is not the worst thing in the world, but it isn't going to help us stretch in the place that we want, which is this hip flexor. So we're gonna back everything up a bit and kind of neutralize this belly. Again, I know it's hard when you don't have a mirror, but see if you can kind of engage your belly, drop your butt so it's kind of tucking under, and then slide forward carefully, not letting yourself round into the small of the back, not letting yourself arch. Open up the chest and really try to feel the length and the stretch from this back knee, my right knee, up and all the way out the top of my head, all the way up. Open everything in the front of the body. Cool, and then we're gonna set the hands down back on the floor and keep working on that hip flexor and maybe a little bit in this outer hip booty. We're gonna walk the left foot outward, both hands on the floor. And then take the left hand up and around to bind and get even heavier through this left hip flexor. So drop the hips heavy, nice and low to the floor, open up the chest. One more deep breath. Hope those hips are starting to feel good. Sweet, and release the left hand, take it back to the floor. We're just gonna step the left leg back and swap them out. So the right leg is gonna step forward. We're gonna pick up the back knee and rock it out, wake it up. Get a little bit more length between those 2 feet, pulling them apart. I can just hear all my regulars complaining about all the low lunges today. I just love the low lunges. Go ahead and set the back knee down and bring the hands up, and you get a little different view on this side. So I'm not gonna let myself be in this position. I'm gonna back it up and feel length in a straight line from that knee all the way up through my midsection. So this is all trying to be really neutral. Then if I can let both hips come forward without losing that arch or that neutralization, then I can slide forward, feeling the stretch through the front of this hip. Shoulders relax down. Take 3 more deep breaths. And release the hands down to the floor. Step the right foot out to the side, away. Left hand plants on the floor, right hand wraps behind. And I'm gonna get really heavy with this hip flexor. Drop this hip down to the floor. Roll that right chest open. And release the right hand back to the floor. Step to hands and knees. Take a few side to sides with the hips. So exhale, C curve one way, inhale center, exhale J curve the other way. And we're gonna release the hips forward and open the chest into seal pose. So both hips kind of drape, let them fall heavy, open the chest, belly button pulls forward, seal pose. Careful with those shoulders, get them out of the ears, open up the chest, elbows pointed back behind, and not looking up, so keeping that neck neutral with the rest of the body. One more deep breath. Slide hips back to heels, child's pose. Cool. I wish I knew how you guys were doing. I hope it feels good. Hope you're feeling great. I'm feeling better. We're getting there. Okay, remember I said we need to kind of engage the glutes in order to help release the hips. We're gonna do another glute activity and then take it back to stretching out the fronts of the hips. So you're gonna turn over and we're gonna do one of my favorite crab pulses. So here, middle finger's pointed away from you. The further your feet are away from you, the harder this is gonna be. So you can kind of like modify as we go. We're gonna try to peel the chest open, shoulders back, lift the hips off the floor, creating reverse tabletop, and give me as much openness through the chest as you can, and I want you to clench those glutes, baby. Squeeze your booty, open up everything, and if you need to kind of get up and down out of this, if it feels really tight, that's fine. Take a few like wiggles to get open. Squeeze the glutes, open up that chest. Give me 3 more deep breaths. buns down. Flip back over to hands and knees. It looks good. Back to hands and knees. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips, down dog. Here we go. Hips again. Lift the heels. Walk to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Take 2 deep breaths. Relax your back. Halfway lift, inhale, and step the right leg back to low lunge, right leg back, left leg is forward. All right, this time I'm gonna keep my back knee off the floor, get a little bit deeper into the effort and into the stretch. You are welcome to pop it right back down, totally up to you. My back foot is staying off, or back knee off the floor. Hands are gonna come up, and we're gonna kind of, in this now knee up position, figure out this part of the body, just like we did a moment ago. So I'm gonna need to kind of like tuck, and now I feel that stretch down that right leg a lot more. Then I'm gonna see how low I can get while keeping all of this stuff straight. Then, if I've got the strength, arms go overhead, high lunge. I know you can't see my head and arms right now, that's fine. You don't need to. Nothing to see here. Feeling the legs heat up quite a bit. Feeling that right hip flexor. And releasing the hands to the floor. Stepping the left leg out to the edge again and taking that revolved lunge. The right hand is going to stay on the floor. The left hand is going to go to the sky. I'm going to try to keep this knee in kind of close to me while opening up the chest and maybe taking a bind. And then again, getting heavy through those hips. How low can you go? Open them up. Damn, girl. Whew. Last breath. Drop hips, open chest, and release. Left hand to the floor. If your back knee is on the floor, pick it up. Lift the hips. Step to down dog. Nice job. Give me a few deep breaths there. Lift the heels, take it to the top of the mat. Other side, baby. Half lift, inhale, flat back. Left leg back to low lunge. Engage core. Here we go, hands up to the knee. Engage core. Find the hip flexor stretch. Here we are, and if I want, arms can come up overhead. They don't have to though, and I'm trying to feel length from this knee all the way up through my body. And the only reason my knee is bent right now is so that I can keep this hip lifted, the butt tucked under, and just really harnessing the stretch through here. If I was to let it straighten, now a lot of that is in my back. So you're gonna have to kind of like play with that and find where you get the best stretch down on that left leg. Give me one more nice deep breath, open the chest. Drop the hands to the mat. Take the right foot out away to the right edge. Back knee up or down, your choice. Take the right hand to the sky. Keep that right knee pulling in. Hand to the low back. Heavy through the hips. Last deep breath, and release the right hand. Good, lift the hips, step to down dog. Take 5 deep breaths in down dog, enjoy that stretch. If you need to set the knees down and take child's pose, go for it. If you need to grab water, go for it. And we'll get both those hip flexors at the same time. Come forward to plank. Set the knees down. Open the chest, seal pose. and slide the hips back. We are going to take a little moment to stretch out a bit of the inner thighs. If you know a little bit of anatomy or know a little bit about your body, psoases are part of the hip flexor complex, the muscles that lift and bend the knee. And with all of the sitting we've been doing these days, that is tending to be an issue, and that is why we're feeling a lot of back pain and hip flexor like tightness, is because of those psoas. So the psoas starts up in the rib cage area and connects just down inside the hip bones. So we're gonna do a little inner thigh stretch to see if we can just get at the very tip, the very edge of those psoas muscles, just right inside the hip crest. So you're back in child's pose. I'm gonna rotate this way so you can kind of see what's going on. In your child's pose, I want you to come up on your hands, and I want you to take your feet out away from you. This is probably gonna be kind of tender, kind of intense, so go slow. And then we're just gonna, with the feet angled out away, walk the knees as wide open as they can go. Hello, good morning, okay. Then, going to the side so you can see, I want you to stick your tailbone back behind you as much as you can. So the knees are going apart from each other, the tailbone's going out, and then we're gonna walk the chest down towards the floor. Good morning, hips. Keep using the hands to push back. So push into the hips, lift the tailbone, lower the chest. This one is really intense. If you're not as low as I am right now, no shame at all. This is a really intense stretch. It also can be kind of tender on the knees. I recognize that. So just do your best, breathe through it. See if on those exhales you can relax the inner thighs a little bit. Let's go one more breath. You guys are awesome. Oh boy. Okay, carefully bring the knees back in towards each other, and we'll slide back to a regular child's pose with those knees tucked up real close underneath of ya. Tuck the toes, take down dog. Lift the heels, walk to the top of the mat, and we're gonna take those outer hip stretches one more time. So we talked about the psoas, it connects here, rolls in. I know you guys are in forward fold, just keep relaxing in forward fold. The other muscle that tends to be an issue in low back really commonly, and that I've been hearing a lot about, is QL. So your QL is right in here, very close and related to kind of like the IT band area. So we're gonna do a few stretches for that next. That should also help release your low back. So we did this one already this morning. We're gonna take half lift, draw the core in, set the right hand on the floor, bend the right knee, left hand to the sky. So you should feel this up and out, this outer hip, and then maybe up in here, depending on where you're tight this morning. Your hand is welcome to be on your low back, outer hip, or up above. Just trying to get that chest open, trying to lift that hip up towards the sky as much as we can. And let's take it on the other side. Right hand to the sky, right leg stretching out. Take 5 deep breaths. And release that right hand to the floor. Take forward fold, our last standing forward fold of the day. Relax the head, neck, and shoulders. We're gonna be here for several breaths just to decompress the upper back. If you like a different variation, ragdoll, or grabbing the back of the head, feel free to take your favorite variation. Whatever helps you relax that back. And release the hands to the floor. We're gonna bend the knees so much that the butt just sits right down on the floor. Plop. We made it to the butt. We're getting closer to the good stuff. Okay, so more on those QLs and outer hips. See if we can get that low back to be feeling good for your weekend. Okay, I did this a few days ago. I've done this with a lot of you a lot of times, so you're probably pretty familiar. We're gonna start on the right hip. If you can stack one leg comfortably in front of the other and keep those knees down, great, let's go to the next level. If that is a bit of a stretch for you and you feel the right hip, stay there. Level 2, if you can stack this comfortably, so I've got these shins are away from me, knee on top of ankle, ankle on top of knee, great. Today I'm already feeling a little bit loose because we did such a great job stretching out already. So I'm gonna take it to level 3, which is the knees stacked on top of each other and the ankles apart. You are welcome to take level 1, 2, or 3, your choice. Hands are gonna go slightly behind us and help push the belly forward. Should be feeling a lot of stretch through this right hip. We're gonna keep mostly flat low back for now and breathe, keeping both the hips on the floor. And then at a certain point, your legs just won't be able to go any further. Go ahead and take your hands out in front of you, and then you're welcome to relax into a folded position as much as you want. We're gonna be here for another 6 breaths, so nice, long, deep stretch. And lift up and out of this slowly. We're gonna set the left hand next to us and take the right hand up and over, which will still be working on this right hip, but just in a slightly different area. This should really target the QLs, top of the hip. Keep that right hip down. Right butt cheek on the floor. Oh my God, it feels so good. And release out of this. Take your time. We're gonna stretch the legs out in front just for a second, kind of shake them out a second. You're welcome to take a brief forward fold over those legs. Just kind of neutralize everything back straight since we were kind of twisted up there. And we'll take it on the other side. And remember, the sides could be different. So if you were on level 1, 2, or 3 on the right side, it might be totally different on the left side. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Just listen to your body and take care of yourself. So level 1, test it out. How we doing? Level 2, how is it? I might be on level 2 on this side today. Level 3, yep, this hip cannot get down with level 3. So I'm gonna stay on level 2. Left hip is stretching. Hands slightly behind to help reach the chest forward, lengthening out the low back. And starting to deep breathe. When you can't get that belly any lower, take the hands out in front, let yourself round and fold. And come up slowly, carefully. Oh yeah. Right hand next to you and the left hand up and over. Hope you guys have some good plans for the weekend. I know the weekdays and the weekends are starting to blend together a little bit. Gotta keep creating like special moments for ourselves, separation of, you know, the schedule. Plan something new and fun and creative. This is an awesome first step. So appreciative and proud of you for starting your weekend with movement. And release and forward fold. So bring the legs straight out in front of you. Oh yeah. Hope the back is starting to feel a little bit better, a little looser. Forward fold, couple deep breaths. And release slowly, carefully. Take your time all the way back to your back. Yes, I love being on my back. Oh yeah, we did it, guys. Good work. Pull the knees in. Give that low back a little massage on the floor. Let the back relax into the floor. Feel yourself release, let go. We're going to set the feet on the mat, and just like we did at the beginning, we're going to take the feet nice and wide to the outer edges. Get this out of the way. So feet wide to the edges of the mat, knees cave together. Just hold there for a second, take a couple deep breaths. I like to place my right hand on my belly and my left hand on my heart like we did at the beginning. Just helps me to be more conscious about how I'm breathing, but you're welcome to keep your hands by your side if you like. And then I'm going to carefully wiggle this right knee out away, so both of my knees are caving to the right side. And I'm trying to feel the stretch and the release on this top hip. The other day I couldn't do this stretch, but I think today I'm feeling like I can. So my right ankle is going to stack to help increase the tension and the stretch on this left hip. You may or may not be into that today. Test it out, see how it feels. Let your upper body relax. Take some slow, deliberate exhales. See if we can get that low back to release. And go ahead and take that right foot off. Take your time taking the knees over to the left side. Let them relax and settle for a moment before adding the ankles. So let the breath, let gravity kind of open up that hip. Tell the hip, it's okay, you can let go. Otherwise it will stay tight and not fully release into that full potential of stretch. And when it's like, okay, it feels totally settled, there's nothing else happening, then you can test out that stack to increase the stretch. Last deep breath, let it settle. Carefully release. Take your time turning onto your back, getting your spine to lengthen and stretch out nice and long. You're welcome to take knees into the chest if that feels good. I'm going to just stretch the feet up towards the sky just for a moment. Last little hamstring stretch. Oh, yeah. You are welcome to hang out on your mat and just relax for a little bit longer. In fact, I encourage it. Enjoy the release of all that stretching that you just did. So appreciative that you joined me today. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you soon.